My name is Eva Kuleva. I'm from Sofia, Bulgaria, and I'm very happy to have you all here tonight for a third consecutive week. Tonight we are going to talk about unconditional love. And before you do a quick recap of last Monday's presentation and go over the homework, let me tell you a few words about myself so that you have an idea why I'm talking to you about love, relationships, unconditional love, self-love. Okay, I'm in Sofia, Bulgaria right now. This is where I was born and where I lived most of my life. I joined Internations because I studied in Greece, in Thessaloniki for one semester. Then I was working on cruise ships in the Mediterranean, Greece, Egypt, Israel, Greek islands. It was an amazing time. Then I used to live in the States for a while on the island of Nantucket in Massachusetts. So that's what makes me feel for the guys who live and work in a different country. And I have been a life coach and matchmaker for 9 years already. Before falling in love with coaching, I used to be a marketing manager of a media group. Before that, I have been working in international advertising agencies. My formal education is a Master's of Management and Business Administration. But 9 years ago, I decided that I need something more meaningful, like to have more meaning in my life and also help people find more meaning in their life. That's why I took up coaching. It all started by observing the relationship between my parents, which were not very happy together, unfortunately. They were fighting and eventually they got divorced. And then in my personal love life, I used to have one relationship after the other, just ending in a similar way. I figured out later on that I have been sabotaging my relationships by being too critical or by not saying what I need or what I want, by putting my partner's needs first and losing myself in the relationships, by being into my masculine energy. So after many failed relationships, I decided that I have to do whatever it takes to figure that love and relationship stuff out. So I started going to therapy and coaching and personal development seminars and you name it. And I believe that through the course of the last 10 years, I learned to put myself first, my needs and my desires, to be able to communicate them in a respectful and loving manner. Also to appreciate men, to respect men, to be into my feminine energy, which helps a lot for building a fulfilling relationship. So actually I turned my mess into a message, and I really want to help people with similar challenges learn to take care of themselves, learn to feel happy no matter if they have a partner or not, learn to communicate freely and openly what they need and what they want, to set healthy boundaries, to communicate in an effective way, and so on. And since tonight the topic is unconditional love, I want to share with you how I introduced my ex-partner to his current partner. It was a nice story. She attended one of my workshops, how to create a loving relationship. Then we became friends and went away on a weekend trip together. And when I got to know her, I figured out that we are very similar and she would be a good match to my ex-partner. So I invited them to a skiing trip organized by Internations. They met there, they really felt attracted to each other. And now they have a beautiful daughter and they're building a house together. So this is how I decided to add matchmaking services to my coaching programs for singles. Okay, enough about me. Let's Let's recap about last Monday. We talked about self-love, 3 aspects of self-love. Of course, it's a vast topic, but we focused on taking good care of yourself, on doing what you want instead of what you should, and accepting yourself as you are and forgiving yourself. And we had 3 homeworks. One was what are your top 2 emotional needs and how do you meet them? Let me recap the 6 main emotional needs by Tony Robbins. They're safety or certainty, variety or uncertainty, love and connection, significance, growth, and contribution. So you were supposed to write down what are your top emotional needs right now and how you meet them. Who would like to share? Okay, let me go through the other 2 and we will see who wants to share regarding which homework. The second homework was to list all the things you think that you should be doing in your life and you don't feel particularly happy about doing them. Then ask yourself, why do I think that I should do that? And figure out what you can do about it. Either stop doing them or change your attitude, figure out that you really want to do them and you're not doing them because you should, or ask somebody else to do them, and so on. The last homework was to write a letter of forgiveness to yourself, and I gave you the structure of the letter. Okay, so now I will stop sharing the presentation for a second so that I can see who wants to share about the homework. First, did you do your homework, guys? Who did the homework? You can raise hands. Kathy, great. Who else? Beata, great. Steve, yay! So would you like to ask something regarding the homework or just share which of these 2 things was really helpful to you? Marisa, okay, I see you. Who would like to share something about the homework? Please just unmute yourself and just share if you have questions or how was your experience.
I would like to share my experience. It was good to use it in a written form for me because you think often about things, but when you do not visualize them, you forget them perhaps. So this was very helpful, and I was wondering about the fact that when I started to write, I could not stop.
Which homework are you regarding out of the 3 right now?
Well, I used the letter and I used this I should or changing it to the other form, yeah, and it was a really interesting exercise.
Great. So did you manage to figure things that you don't want to do anymore or that you can change your attitude towards? How did this I should exercise help you?
I have already first results, I would say, because working with it, I took some actions, and this is really why I say that this was a good exercise, because when I write something, I see it in front of me. So this is...
Would you like to give a specific example? What exactly did you change?
Not necessarily.
Okay. I'm just checking. Okay, great. Thank you very much, Beata. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else would like to share their experience?
Katie, I think.
Hi, John.
Okay.
Hi.
Okay, great. If you don't want to share...
No, Eva, Katie would like to share.
Yes, Katie, please share.
I don't mind sharing. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I thought trying to pick just 2 was actually kind of difficult because I think I kind of felt a little need for all of them. But I couldn't get below 3 of them. And that was interesting because safety for sure, significance, and love and connection. And when I got to the second part then about what I should and what, etc., it was very contradictory to what I actually wanted, which was very eye-opening. So making myself remind myself to do things rather than what I was doing, instead what I should do, to keep me focused on getting those three things that were a priority was very good. With the letter of forgiveness, to be honest, I did that a couple of times over the years. So I genuinely don't feel I've done anything that I need to forgive myself for, to be honest. I'm not perfect, obviously, but I don't have any big thing. So that was actually kind of nice to realize. I don't have any real regrets or whatever, or things I feel I've done too bad on people, you know.
Great. Thank you for sharing. Thank you, Kathy. Okay, we will go on now.
Steve has a Steve.
Yeah, I wasn't going to share, but I think I am.
Go
really
on.
because I have a question about one for you.
Great.
Eva. But I'll save that one for last. So I just blanked out all my photos here, pictures. Oh, and anyway.
Jim, can you mute?
It's okay. It's back. Something happened. It doesn't matter. On the Tony Robbins, it was love and connection and significance. On the letter to myself, I've also done that, but usually through meditation. So this comes up quite often in much of the meditation groups I've been in over the years. That's an important thing, is to start forgiving yourself. And I've treated that. I do have some things to forgive myself for. The number one thing there, and don't really need to discuss it much, is failing to love unconditionally, and how that has, I can see that as really being the turning point in a couple of relationships, including a marriage of 27 years or whatever. But the one I have a question about is the stop doing. And the stop doing, it's a tightrope that I've had to walk, and I'm not sure how I stay on the tightrope.
I'm not sure that I understand what you mean, Steve.
I'll explain that. The issue is in a relationship, focusing on the other person. Sometimes if I do too little, it becomes an issue of whether or not I'm too focused on myself and not interested in enough. But one of my personalities, one of my careers is I'm an attorney. And when I focus too much on someone, I've been told that it can be intimidating for them. So if I focus too much on them, they become almost threatened by it, or there's a shell and they want to stay inside that shell and don't wish to share. But if I back off from that,
Steve, can you go to your question?
Well, it's how do you find that balance between putting someone first and focusing on them so they don't feel you're ignoring them, while simultaneously letting them feel secure that you're not trying to push through a shell that they don't want you coming into?
I would say through communication. You just really check with them how they feel, how much attention do they need, and where are the boundaries.
Well, I'm sure you know about women very much, but there are some women that don't like to communicate what that is, or that it changes from one day to the next, depending on mood. And I'm not trying to cast a view of women generally, but this has been the issue. This has been the issue.
What I would suggest is that you take care of your needs and really invite your partner to share what they need. If she's not clear what they need, nobody can help her. So if she's not good at communication, just help her to communicate effectively. Ask her questions so that maybe she needs to talk to you in order to get clear what she needs. You can just support her in finding out what she needs.
Okay.
Great. Okay, let's move on with today's topic. Okay, again. I don't know why I have this challenge with. Can you see the full screen now?
Yes.
Full screen right now.
Yes, I would like to address two comments that I read in the chat after last Monday's event, which I find really interesting and important. I choose to, after having kids, how our priorities and our self-love and self-care changes after we have kids. Of course, our priorities shift while our kids are really newborns and they just need us to survive. It is clear that for a short period of time, they will be our focus, main priority, especially for the mother. But what happens is that many parents, and especially many mothers, keep on putting their children first, further on later when their kids don't need that attention anymore. So this is one reason why so many relationships fail, or the ones that fail, usually this is the reason, because the parents put their kids first. And I would suggest to all the parents, after your kids are not newborns anymore, just put yourself first, your needs and yourself first. Second, put your relationship with your partner, and then come the needs on place number 3. This might be shocking for some of you, but make sure you don't put your kids before your partner, because what your kids need the most is safety. And to feel safe, your children need to see that their parents love each other, trust each other, and are happy with each other. And if you don't put yourself first, you cannot be spending quality time with your kids. You will be grumpy, angry, impatient with the kids. So it's better to spend less time with the kids, but make it quality time, than to sacrifice your self-time to spend more time with the kids, but not being in the right state. And on the other extreme, some people put their work and career before the kids. I personally believe that kids need to know that, especially for their mother, they come before their work and career. Again, while they're still young. I'm not talking about teenage kids or something like that. So if you this is a big topic, I'm sure, but if you have questions, I will invite you to ask them at the end of the presentation at the Q&A session. And the other thing that I saw in the chat was what is the difference between self-love and self-obsession or narcissism? This is close to the issue difference between self-love and egoism that we discussed last time, but I just found some definition so that we clarify this. There is a little bit of different angle on it. So narcissism is excessive or erotic interest in oneself and one's physical appearance. And self-love is regard for one's own well-being and happiness. So we can see that they are pretty different. A narcissist's self-love is shallow, as it is dependent on other people to fuel it. Narcissists feed off of the adoration and praise of others. Without it, they have nothing. This obsession with self hinders the narcissist from being able to fully love others. And on the other side, self-love is about taking responsibility for one's mental, physical, and spiritual well-being. And those who practice self-love have good self-esteem because they can both appreciate their accomplishments in a realistic manner while also recognizing their challenges. So I believe you can see the difference between self-love and self-obsession and narcissism, and you don't feel guilty when you take care of your needs in a loving way. Okay, let's go to the topic of unconditional love. Tell me, what does it mean to love yourself unconditionally? What do you think? Who would like to answer? Yes, kids and couples should be a full-time session. Montse, I agree with you. Next Monday, I will make a list of topics and ask you what would be interesting for you in case we decide to make another sequence or other events. Okay, guys, would you like to write down what unconditional love means to you and unconditional self-love, or just answer unmuting yourself? Aleph, yes, please.
Well, in my opinion, it's self-love and self-respect is about knowing our level of where we are, because it gives us even more self-confidence, and then we're more confident about the things we do. So
where is the unconditional self-love here?
The unconditional, even though we make mistakes, we still know that we learn from them.
We still what?
We still know that we maybe didn't do well, but we learn from them. So.
Okay, okay, thank you. Somebody else would like to share about unconditional love? How do you understand it? Yes, Kathy?
I think the ultimate one is self-acceptance, whether you do something brilliantly or not at all, or whether you're perfectly beautiful or whether you have flaws, but it's accepting exactly who you are.
Thank you, Kathy. Yes, I see in the answers as well. Compassionate look to ourselves, recognizing our effort regardless if we meet expectations. Great.
I just want to add something. What I want to say for myself is the biggest mistakes I have done have been the biggest page turners in my life. So once you manage to find that out, like my biggest breakup actually changed me totally, and now I feel like I have 20 years more life experience than 2 years ago. So
great, thank you for sharing.
The same, I think that unconditional love means that we love ourselves despite of results, good or better. We can accept ourselves. We can forgive, forgive ourselves in case we are doing wrong, to accept everything, good or bad, and to love us.
Exactly. Thank you, Svetlana. Yes, great. Okay, so there isn't much more to say about that. But as you see the presentation now, full screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So as we start with the initial slide, self-love is like the sun. It's shining no matter if who you are, where you are, it makes no difference. It's giving light. So your unconditional love to yourselves is like your source of support and kindness and acceptance, and it goes on no matter what. So it is accept and support yourself no matter what. Of course, you may make choices that you're not proud of, but still, this doesn't mean that you don't love yourself because you make a wrong decision. Yes, you learn from the experience, you take responsibility for the consequences, but you still love and support yourself, even when you are going through hard times or even when you feel angry for your mistakes. And how does this happen actually? Because it's easy to say, but when usually the voice in our head is very critical. And most of us have learned this from our parents. And what we can do is, when we realize that we are criticizing ourselves, just to try and turn the criticism into compassion, to understand why we made this choice. As we discussed last time, any choice we make, any behavior we practice, it's because it meets some of our needs. And as soon as we realize what needs this choice has met, we can feel compassion for ourselves. Yes, maybe I needed to feel significant. That's why I did this. Maybe I needed love and affection. That's why I said that. So this is the way we can be compassionate towards ourselves, understand what are the deeper motives of our so-called wrongdoings or mistakes. And it's very important to separate the person from the action. When we say something silly, this doesn't mean that we are a stupid person. Or when we do something bad, doesn't mean that we are a bad person. It's very important to separate the person from the action. And when we learn to do this towards ourselves, of course, we will be able to do this towards other people too. So no labeling ourselves, I'm stupid, I'm a failure, I'm this and I'm that. Be very careful. Only nice things about yourselves. You say just you are the biggest fan of yourself. Never say anything bad about yourself. And it's not what you do, it's how you judge what you do that matters. Let me try to explain this further. Let's say that you are so successful. Everybody is jealous of you maybe because you are killing it every time. But nevertheless, you still regard yourself as a failure. You have so high expectations of yourself that you are never satisfied enough. So it doesn't matter that you have wins and success if you judge it poorly, right? And vice versa. You have average results, you don't strive for perfection, and you are satisfied with yourself. It doesn't matter that other people have a higher expectation of you. If you are content with what you're doing, this is all that matters. Another part of unconditional love is not to compare yourself to others and to wish to be different. This is what Kathy said and the others for full acceptance. We don't compare our body, our success, our happiness, our family, anything to other people. This is very destructive. We just compare ourselves to ourselves 5 minutes ago or yesterday. Do we feel better? How are we doing? So guys, just be conscious when you compare yourself to yourself. Parents usually do this with children, between siblings or with other kids. Oh, look what the other kid is doing. This is so detrimental. Just be aware when you are comparing yourself and when you wish to be something different or someone different. And it sounds obvious, but you will never be perfect, no matter how hard you try. And this is one of the diseases, that we are trying to be perfect. Do I have to explain why we will never be perfect? And that's okay. This is accepting. Yes, I may never change those flaws that I have, but that's okay. So guys, please give yourself a break. Don't have such unrealistic and high expectations of yourself. Like when Steve shared, he cannot forgive about not loving unconditionally. This is being so hard on yourself. Who taught us how to love unconditionally? How could we know? Did we study this in school or did our parents teach us? Of course, we don't know how to do it. And maybe we will never learn, but only the intention of doing so and striving, it's enough already that we are aware. So focus on what you're proud of and what you like about yourself. Celebrate your victories no matter how small. We are so inclined to focus on what's not working, on what we didn't do well. And I really invite you, focus on what is going well, what you did well, and congratulate yourself. Celebrate every small victory. This is how we will attract more and more of this positive energy and positive experience in our lives. Give up the struggle of improving yourself and celebrate the perfection of who you are. This is an Abraham Hicks quote. It's one of my favorite quotes. Realizing that we are already perfect as we are. It may be hard for some of you, but that makes a huge, huge difference. The more we try to improve ourselves, the more this means that we disapprove ourselves and we think that we are broken, or there is something wrong with us. No, you're perfect just the way you are, and you deserve to be loved. You deserve affection and everything you need, abundance, just the way you are. And many of us have missed love and affection from our parents, attention or kind words, appreciation. This is over now. It's part of the past. Now it's our role and responsibility to become that loving parent of ourselves that we wish our parents were. So just figure out what you want, you always wanted to hear from your parents, and tell it to yourself. Say yourself, bravo, you're beautiful, you're amazing, you rock. You know, don't stop expecting this from other people and from your parents if you still expect it from them. So this is the inner dialogue that I suggest, how to talk to us. When you look in the mirror, you say yourself, I love you, I appreciate you, thank you for all that you're doing, I'm proud of you, you rock. This is what Louise Hay is also teaching, and this is how unconditional self-love looks like and sounds like. And many people at this point would say, okay, but how will I change and improve if I accept myself completely as I am right now? And here is the answer how. If you don't accept the current situation, there's no way you can change it, because by struggling with it, by being resistant to it, we pour negative energy on it, and this is how we are getting stuck at this moment. By focusing on it, this is how we attract more and more of the current situation. But the path to change, at least this is my understanding and my belief, this is how anything that we want to change, how may change. First, by being aware of the pattern that we want to change. Okay, maybe I'm choosing partners who are not compatible with me or who are unavailable. Yes, I am inclined to do that. Then accept it. Well, I have done this in the past, I keep on doing it, maybe I can't help it, but this is the current situation. And I'm okay with that. Observe it with compassion. Here comes this understanding, why am I doing this? Trying to figure why we are making these choices, and just observe how we are doing it, but with compassion and not with criticism. Yes, I am late again this time. Well, next time I will try to do better. So by lessening the resistance towards this pattern, this is how we can start to change, to make a better choice next time. If we are not aware of the choices we make, if we don't accept them, we cannot make a different choice next time. That's why it's so important to start with awareness and acceptance, and just observing neutrally without criticism. Of course, I'm not saying to encourage your negative patterns. No, I'm just saying being neutral and observe. Yes, I did that again. That's okay. Next time, I will try to make a better choice.
Eva, there's a question.
Yes, can you read the question for me, please?
Can self-love be mixed up with being self-centric and getting like people who get obsessed with their achievement and become arrogant?
This is exactly the question we addressed earlier about narcissism and self-obsession. It has nothing to do with it.
Mona, do you have more question for Eva on this at this point?
Right. So sorry, Eva, if you have addressed this and I didn't get it at the time. It's always a bit of challenge because people who want to who are.
Could you please switch on your camera?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sorry, it's been a long day at work. So
yes, please give me a specific example so that I can answer your question. Just a specific example.
But usually people who are very criticized of themselves, they forget to accept and be proud of their achievement with the fear of not being seen arrogant or feeling that they are, you know, advertising a minor thing that they have achieved and show the whole world. So that's kind of a balance. I was wondering how these two can relate or how it can be different from each other.
Yes, I understand what you're asking. For me, there's nothing wrong with being proud with your achievements and sharing them with the world. And this is exactly, these are some limiting beliefs of our society, that we don't have to be so proud of ourselves. On the contrary, share what you do, what are your achievements with other people. This is not, of course, by trying to diminish them or trying to show that you are something more than they are, but do it with a genuine desire to share your happiness and your success, so that you can maybe also be of help to them, to inspire them, you know. It's all about the feeling that you have in your heart. If you do it out of fear that you are not good enough and you want to show how good you are so that you are better than them, this is arrogance and this is not self-love. But if you genuinely share because you're happy and you're so content with what you did and you really want to contribute to also their happiness and the way they feel, this can only have a positive impact.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you.
Eva, can I add a point on that? I'm trying to, you know, there are people, maybe they are a bit of like feeling intimidated if you tell them, you know, your achievement and so on, right? So maybe they start thinking a bit negative of you, and because you are offering something positive, and because of that you don't get positive back, right? Of course, unconditionally you don't want to expect anything, but the last thing you want is to have something negative. On the other hand, you know, many coaches, like, you know, they just want to say something positive to inspire, right? And so I think that's my contribution.
Yes, thank you, Jim. This is more or less taking responsibility for other people's emotions. If you are doing it from genuinely from a place of love, sharing your success, and the other people feels intimidated, it's their problem, it's their choice. This is how they choose to take it, you know, and there's nothing you can do. You can find people who are happy with your success and who will celebrate it with you, you know. Okay, let's move on. You can see the presentation full screen, right?
Yes.
Good. Okay, let's see what's next. Oh, we have exercise. Great, my favorite part. Okay.
No.
Take your sheet, Jim, please take your paper out, take your pen, and do a circle, a big circle, as big as you can on your sheet of paper. Then after you do the circle, divide it in 8 sections, more or less like this bike tire, but not so many sections, just 8, like a cake you're cutting. This is your life and the 8 spheres of your life. Let's see what they are. Of course, these 8 sections can be different, but I suggest that you divide them in health, finances, business and career, environment, physical environment. Just name the sections on top out of the circle like it's done here on this wheel of life. Family or friends or relationships, romance or love life, personal growth, and fun and recreation. So now you are going to estimate your satisfaction in each of these sections. Let's start with business and career. How satisfied do you feel right now with your professional development from 1 to 10? Let's say if it's here is 7.5, you can see the yellow mark. If it's 9, you just mark it here until 9. If it's 5, you mark it at 5. Then continue with the other sections. How satisfied are you with your current financial situation from 1 to 10? And mark correspondingly. Then how satisfied are you with your health? And how satisfied do you feel with your relationship with family members, friends, colleagues, all your relationships outside of your love relationship? You can take the average. Of course, it will not be the same, but take the average. How satisfied do you feel with your love life?
Love life is romance.
Sorry?
Love life is romance?
Yes. Then how satisfied do you feel with your personal development, personal growth right now, currently? We have very nice music. My opera singer neighbor is singing. How satisfied are you with your fun and recreation, your hobbies, your rest, all the things that you do outside of work for fun and pleasure? And how satisfied are you with the physical environment? Physical environment is everything that surrounds you. It's your home, it's your car, it's your office, it's your belongings, your phone, laptop, even the town that you live, even the country that you live. Everything physical is an environment that surrounds you. Take the average and mark it. Okay. How does your wheel of life look like? Is it even or is it bumpy like this one? What attracts your attention when you're looking at your wheel of life? The purpose here is not for you to be at 10 in each section. The idea is to have similar satisfaction in all the spheres, let's say 6 or 7 or 8, but in order to feel balanced and your wheel to be turning smoothly, it's good to be more or less equally satisfied in all the spheres. Of course, if they matter equally to you, some of them are more important than others, and we are going to talk about this now. So, are you ready with this, with the exercise so far? Do you have questions?
Ready.
Okay, yeah?
We are ready.
Okay, good, good. The next thing you are going to do with your wheel of life is to prioritize these 8 sections. Like, if you can feel 100% satisfied in only one of these sections, which one would you choose? what is the most important one. Write them from 1 to 8. Try to figure out if you are satisfied in one of them, maybe this will contribute to more satisfaction in another one. Maybe they're interdependent in a way. So try to prioritize them from 1 to 8, the way you would like them to be prioritized.
Sorry, to
Yes.
prioritize those 8 sections based on which is most important for us right now.
Yes. For example, okay, let me make it more clear. In order to achieve satisfaction in our life, in all these 8 spheres, we have certain resources that we invest. What are these 2 resources that we invest in order to get satisfaction in these spheres? Who would like to say? Romance for single people can be you go on dates, there is something going on, maybe you have some casual relationship, so something is going on in your love life. Time and money. Okay, time for sure is our main resource, but money itself, it is not a resource, it is a substitute for a resource. We can buy some time with money, or the money itself is not the resource. What is the other resource apart from time that we have? What do we invest apart from time in order to get satisfaction in our life?
I would say personal growth is very important for me.
Okay, that's good, but we are now talking about the resources. Emotions, exactly. See you, George. Yes, emotions, let's call it energy. The 2 main resources that we have are our time and our energy. And the energy can be split in 4 different types of energy. It's emotional energy, it's physical energy, it's mental energy, and spiritual energy. This is a big topic. We're not going to go into detail right now, but let's say in order to prioritize, why do we need to prioritize? Because in one certain moment, we can focus only in one thing. We cannot work for feeling satisfied in our love life and at the same time work on feeling more satisfied in our careers. No, we can focus our time and energy only in one thing in one certain moment. So we have to be very clear which is more important to us. If a friend is calling us to have fun tonight, but we also want to spend time with our partner, which one will we choose? Which one is more important for us? You know? Okay, just do the prioritization from 1 to 8. And this will be also part of your homework, because there are 2 types of priorities. It's the way it is right now. Maybe your priorities are not exactly as you want them to be. For example, if health is not #1 priority, maybe you should shift your priorities in a way. We can discuss this next time after you think about this prioritization from 1 to 8. What is the current situation and what is the desired situation? So what shifts you need to do from your current prioritization in order to achieve what you want. For example, if your love life is with the lowest level of satisfaction, maybe you need to invest some more time and energy in that field so that you get higher satisfaction. Or if you invest a lot of time and energy in certain sphere, but you still have low satisfaction, maybe your strategy is not effective. What you're doing is not working. Do you get what I'm saying? Okay. And your exercise, your homework will be to describe your life vision. The wheel of life is going to help you in the following way. You can try to figure out what are the steps up to 10 in each of the spheres. For example, if business and career, like here, is 7.5, what would be 8, what would be 9, and what would be 10 level of satisfaction in this sphere for you? Just write down. The same thing for finances. If your satisfaction is 6, what would mean to be 7, 8, 9, or 10? Like you want to have investments, you want to have more savings, you want to, I don't know what. Just, this is a way to do some goal setting. So after you write all the spheres above the one that you're right now, up to 10, you will figure out what is the path to achieve your vision. Let's say that your life vision is to be 10 in all of these spheres. What would 10 look like for you in each of those spheres? What would it mean to have a 10 at fun and recreation? Maybe you travel abroad 4 times per year, you go out of town once every month, you do your favorite hobby twice per week. I don't know. Just try to figure out what would be 10 for you in each of these spheres and write it down. This would be your life vision. And I suggest that you do it in present tense as if it's already happening. For example, I have great friends, we have fun together, going out once per week, we travel abroad, I have a loving partner and 2 kids, blah, blah, blah. Just describe all that you want in present tense as if it is already happening, and write only what you want and not what you don't want. Okay, that's, yes.
So I think Mona have question. So I miss it. Sorry, Mona, I was doing the exercise, so I miss it. I only see it right now. So Mona has question. Mona, would you just go ahead and ask your question?
Yeah, hi Tim. I actually asked the priorities that Eva mentioned. Should that be the one that we are least satisfied in our will? For instance, if somebody is not...
Not necessarily, it can be. But for example, if it's not very important, your financial situation right now, for example, you have a partner who is taking care of you financially, and you have a low level of satisfaction, but it's not important for you. It doesn't mean that it's high priority. You know, it is a combination between how important this is for you and how satisfied you are right now. Do you,
yeah, right.
This answer my question? Okay, your question.
Even if it's something, that is in there. So for instance, if I rated 3 for fun, if it's something that I'm satisfied with, then I should not prioritize it, even if it's not a high rate. That's okay. Okay.
Yeah, but I would suggest that you are not satisfied with 3 for fun, because you will end up in a hospital if you're focused only on career, or, you know.
Yeah, or other way around. If somebody is happy with money and score it at 9, but still is ambition to get the business started or something like that, it can still be as one of the priorities. So what I'm trying to establish that the number, the score of satisfaction doesn't necessarily relate to the order on these.
Yeah, it usually does, but not necessarily. Okay, we can talk about this next time. It's a really big topic. It's regarding your values as well.
Thank you.
Okay, great. So let's go to the resources. I promised you to talk about meditation. We will talk more in depth next time, but I would like to suggest, if you're not using any of these apps, just to give it a try. These are my 2 favorite apps for meditation. It's Headspace and Waking Up. I have been using Headspace myself for many years now, and just recently found out about the Waking Up app, and I'm just blown with it. Both of them have free trial, so just download them on your phones and give it a try. If you are not familiar with what are the benefits of meditation, maybe you can read about it and educate yourself. But for me, this is the most simple and most effective tool to achieve love, self-love, happiness, content, neutrality, acceptance, satisfaction, you name it. So there are many myths about meditation, that it's hard, that you don't know how to do it. It's very simple. In the meditation, they tell you what to do in these apps. Just follow the instructions and give yourself 5-10 minutes every morning and see what difference this will make in your life. Next time, you can share your experience.
Eva?
Yes.
Adriana has a suggestion. She think that Insight Timer is free. The app's Insight Timer is free.
Yes, I know, but for me, it's not better than these two apps. Adriana, I suggest that you try these two apps and compare it. There is free trial. And also, if you cannot afford the Waking Up app, they will give you a free subscription. You just write to them, I would really like to use it, but I cannot afford it, and they will give it to you. This is amazing.
Eva, another point is next week you talk about technique or method, right? Will you talk about meditation again, or this is the last time you talk about it?
Yes, I will talk more about meditation, but of course I'm not gonna teach some techniques. I will just share my experience, some different ways that I tried and what effects it has on me. I'm not gonna teach you how to meditate, obviously.
And Gabriela suggested Black Lotus, most comprehensive app. Okay,
I need to read that. The free version of Waking Up app. Okay,
and one before that, I think.
Black Lotus. Okay, I will make sure to check that Black Lotus next time. Great, thank you. Great, let's go on. Next event would be next Monday. Practical tools to establish loving relationship with yourself. Same time. I will be happy to go really practical. And I would like to share with you a little bit more about the personal coaching programs that I offer. They're basically three. One of them is how to create a life that you love, no matter if you have a partner or not. The other one is how to attract the love of your life, no matter what happened in the past. This is a coaching program for singles who would like to create a family or start a long-term relationship. And how to co-create a loving relationship with your current partner. This is a coaching program for people in a relationship. I will just briefly tell you about the singles program, how to attract the love of your life. We focus on lessons from previous relationships, on forgiveness towards parents, self, and exes. We talk about relationship values, about your relationship vision, what you want, what kind of relationship you want, what are the must-haves and deal breakers in order to choose the right partner for you. We talk about strategies for online and offline dating, and how to do it's multiple dating, but how to date 3 potential partners in order to choose the one. So I will be happy to answer your questions regarding this, or if you want to know more, there is a free strategic coaching call. Please sign up for it, and I will be really happy to tell you more. If you want to receive today's presentation, please write your email in the chat, publicly or privately, and I will be more than happy to share the presentation with you, as well as an intake form if you would like to explore the opportunity of personal coaching. And now it's time for questions and answers. Guys, thank you very much for joining tonight, and I will be really happy to answer your questions. Please raise your hand in the chat, where not in the chat, in the participants list. Yes, John, you're quick. Ask me your question.
John, what is your first of the 10 questions you're going to ask today?
Jim knows me really well now.
Yeah, you it's like the kid right in front of the classroom, you know. Me.
Okay, John, there is an airplane here, but I will do my best to hear your question.
So I understand that your presentation is more about self and self-love, but my question is a little bit more related to a relationship because it impacts the self, and I'll explain what. So I was dating somebody who is also one of my best friends, and she has typically struggled with self-love and is typically critical of herself because of either her upbringing or genetic or a combination of the two.
It's never genetic. It can be upbringing, but never genetic. Okay, so sorry.
Interesting. Okay. So my question is, I have also observed she becoming critical of me as well. At the same time, deep down, I know she likes me, but she has this kind of expectations of what it means to be a guy, and
yes, this
she
is
has
very
this
common.
template.
Yes.
So my question is, how can you be with a person like that, either in a relationship, in a friendship? Can I help that person? How do I guard myself while being in a relationship like that? I love her a lot, so I'm just curious.
Yes, the first thing that you need to find out is if she's willing to work on that, because we cannot help anybody if they don't want to be helped. So if she is willing to be aware of it, and with your help probably work on accepting more positive approach to herself and you and other people, you could support her by appreciating, by sharing appreciation towards her, like giving her compliments, underlying her positive aspects, just commenting all the time you notice something nice and good about her. So just lead by example, be positive, talk about positive things. So if you are criticizing her about her being critical, you are playing the same game, more or less.
I get that point, and she's very self-aware and working on herself. Does a lot of self-development, has works also with a therapist. But my question is slightly different. How do I make sure that it doesn't impact me? Because when I keep hearing that all the time, not just about herself, but also like projecting some negative perspectives and views about me, it impacts my own view about myself, my confidence. I'm like, is this healthy? How do I guard myself? It's not just about helping her. She can help herself. I can be a support, but I'm also trying to figure out, is this a healthy friendship or relationship? How do I guard myself is what my question is.
John, is this a healthy relationship?
Probably not.
I'm sure that you know the answer of it. Of course, it's not healthy. And this is, would be really, if we expect somebody to change dramatically, this will be quite naive, right? So if you cannot accept her the way she is and understand that this criticism has nothing to do with you, this is the way she is relating to herself. This is her cry for help, her way to connect with people. This is the only way she knows how to connect with people, by criticism, probably. Because this is what she has seen in her family. This is how her parents have been treating her. And if you manage not to take this personally, great. But if this is really bugging you, it will be tough. I don't think this is healthy, and you can work with that if you don't see any progress from working her trying to change this.
Can I make a small comment? I think this is a general comment. Of course, it's not directed specifically at anyone. I think the amount of energy we put into these types of relationships, the price is too high, because you will not get the satisfaction that you deserve or that you need, maybe. You know what I mean? Because you're always going to be focusing on the wrong area. So maybe look for someone else.
Yes, but also this is, as we discussed last time, it is also a mirror. If you have attracted it and chosen a person like that, this is also showing an aspect of yourself. So ask yourself, where are you critical?
Or maybe she just thinks that you're a nice guy and she wanted to connect with you, but it doesn't mean that she is the right one for you, even as a friend. You know what I mean?
Thank you,
So
Vesam. Thank you.
Yeah.
So,
No,
John,
I will just add one insight to that. What you said is right on. That she's critical of the things that she sees in me. She's not stupid. That she sees in herself. So the very things that she's rejecting in herself are the things that she's rejecting in me. So it is kind of a mirror, but the question for me is it possible for any one person to become so secure in themselves that that they're not affected by what the other person thinks or says about them? Is that possible to grow to that level?
tell me, is it possible?
It is possible, I believe, not just with self-intention, but also if the other person is also supportive and aware that you're working on something, the two people can work and help each other to grow. It is possible.
Great. Thank you, John.
John, no more question for you. No, I'm kidding. So I just want to make a small point. I think, when John spoke, I felt like, many men are in that sort of situation as well, right? What I want to focus, Hasana, I know you are waiting, but just let us extend a little bit, yeah? So it's like, John, that as Eva said, there must be something that attracts you. The question is, when you eventually decide that you can't continue, what could you learn? What aspect of her attract you? How can you learn from that? And then, how do you bring it over to another potential partner or potential someone that you would like to, put your effort in, something like that. Eva, can we transfer this attraction?
No, I just wanted to say that if John has attracted and chosen such person in his life, this means that he is also critical. So John, just find out where you are critical. By your smile, I know that you know this is true. So work on your criticism, and then this person will either change or get out of your life.